I've I've I have lived a sweet life most of my life because I've had, I believe, I've made choices for myself. And even when I was mothering young children, you know, the choices are a little, they are a little more limited for an individual, but yet there are choices that a parent can make that will still be nurturing and supportive to the children, which would
Mhm.
also contribute to a sweet life. You know,
Right.
if you are able to still, um,
And I look at some of the choices that you made as I became more aware. And my 50-year-old self looks back at some of the choices, and I see how much it has influenced me. Because
mhm,
had you not picked up and left DC and first went to Albuquerque and then Cottonwood, Alabama, and then back to DC and then to St. Helena Island and to the Beaufort area, I don't know that it would have occurred to me that I could just pick up and leave and go to Barbados. That wasn't my first stop, but just the
right,
idea that you don't have to stay where you are, that you can go someplace that nourishes your heart and your spirit. And for me, that is Barbados. But I don't know that it would have occurred to me that it was just something I could do without this major undertaking in this plan. It was like, okay, it's time to bounce. And so
yeah,
I thank you for that example. But at the time that you were initially making the moves, that wasn't my thinking or appreciation. At first at 17, 18, and then now at 50. So I thank you for that. So, but you mentioned something about the sweet life definition of a sweet life that you have now, that you pretty much have had for the last 25 years or so. But what advice would you give to your 30 something year old self and your 40 something year old self from the 80-year-old self, that if you could go back and visit yourself at that age or in that range, what would you tell the 30 something year old you?
well, because you're talking to your mother, the Aries person. I think that I probably carry a greater capacity to move with less fear than some other people. I probably
Yeah.
carry a greater capacity to take a chance on my life